Okay. Steve, I think...
Read it.
Yeah. Any alteration to the approved $980,000 renovation will be accomplished only if a firm contract is in hand?
How about presented?
I don't think that's right with the 980,000, because the 980,000 covers the core.
Right.
And so I don't think you can apply that to the 980,000.
I'm confused.
Well,
The
no.
980 includes the demo
Includes the
cost.
demo.
Yeah.
It includes the demo, but it also...
You can't say that 980 and then say, but part of the demo might not take place.
Sure you can.
Sure you can.
Sure you can.
I think what we're saying is we're authorizing them to spend up to $980,000 for the items we talked about. Any expansion beyond that requires what we're speaking of.
But my comment on what she read, I think, Mark, is I think the way you read it, Representative Rumberger, is that the 980,000, if any alterations were made within that, that has to be paid for by the person, which in effect would apply to anybody moving into the core, would have to pay 100% because the core is included in the 980,000. I don't have any problem with the wings in the front, but I do with the core.
We are, wait, just a moment. We are not including any money to do any renovation of the 3,000 square feet.
Absolutely. I don't disagree with that.
That will
That's
have
fine.
to be a separate motion by the delegation if in fact that's what it is. But if Health and Human Services says, I will move in on a firm contract and I need 1,000 square feet and you have to do the renovation, then that will be a decision that the delegation would make. All we're saying here, I think, is that they cannot do anything other than what we have said they can do without a firm contract and the understanding that the renovation will be paid for by the leasee. Now, if that changes, that's our recommendation.
That also applies to the core though, right?
Yes, it applies to anything.
It would seem to me you should, I don't disagree with all of the other wings and all that stuff, but it seems to me there should be some latitude on the core that if somebody really wanted to move in there and they were paying a pretty good rent, but they would only pay whatever percent of the renovations, that we ought to have the option to do that.
Then
if we decided
that
to.
is a separate motion. That has nothing to do with what we are approving right now. We are not approving any money to be spent inside on that 3,000 square feet.
Okay.
Okay.
But I think you said they couldn't, and that's what, they can't without going through the delegation or
Right.
something maybe, but that's the way it should be worded.
It is. This has, as I understand it, this has nothing to do with. There's money in there right now to renovate the laundry. There's money in there to do improvements on the heating system, the floors, and everything else.
Yeah.
There is no money in this right now for the 3,000 square feet of unspecified office space.
Yeah.
So our proposal here is only what happens outside on the scope. Whatever the commissioners, whatever contracts they come to, as far as inside the building, that's a different issue. We're only focused, and we're not precluding anybody from coming in there. That option's available. So I don't think you should feel that you have to vote against where we are unless representatives that started crafting this feels any different than I do.
No, I believe that addresses it. I mean, the key issue here was what we're doing, the only thing we're doing is giving the commissioners an opportunity, a one-time opportunity, with a date certain, to see if they can find a self-financing use, I guess, for one of those wings. I don't know how else to
All right,
put it.
I'll vote for it.
If not, down it comes.
I'll vote for it.
Just a hypothetical. The cost to for the demolition for one of the wings is $230,000. Let's say within this 6-month period, the commissioners come up and say, okay, we're gonna make a home for veterans, and we're gonna make a daycare center, and Health and Human Services is gonna move in. So these 2 wings, we're not gonna demolish them. Can they use that $230,000 then to
No.
do the work, or is that taken out of the total?
It's taken out.
And any other funds that could be used to redo those wings would have to be voted on separately.
Right.
Yeah, as I understand it, Frank, if that were to happen, Health and Human Services, the commissioners would have to come to us with a contract defining the length of the lease, the dollar rate, whatever the heck they're coming up with, and to the satisfaction of the delegation, say, this is self-financing, this makes sense for the county. In the absence of that...
Within 6 months.
Within 6 months. In the absence of that, it's going away.
But may I, Mr.
Yes.
You have to keep in mind, though, that we don't run the commissioners. If the commissioners find somebody to rent something to, they don't have to ask us, unless it takes money to prepare that space.
Really?
So they can sign a contract and rent to whoever they want, as long as that building is there, and if they go in and do all the repairs themselves. The only time the commissioners have to come to us and ask us anything is if it's going to cost money to do it.
Well, my presumption is they're certainly going to have to spend a lot of money to make those wings presentable for any tenant, and that they would have to come to us for. And again, if they can do that and it makes sense,
Do it.
I don't really have an issue with it. I don't think it's going to happen. I'm also anticipating, and I hate to get ahead of myself, a vote on next Monday. And I think a clear proposal at this point to tear it down immediately, I'm not sure it would pass this delegation. That's the only reason I'm reluctantly supporting this 6-month extension. You know, if it was given my preference, I'd tear it down tomorrow. But
What was that?
it sounded like a fire alarm.
Sound like a fire alarm.
I think,
Smoke detector.
I think we're
or
okay.
something.
We're not gonna take a chance we miss this opportunity. I think
Take a
we're just
vote
about
quick.
here.
Blew out.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, so here's what it says, okay? The addition. Any alteration to the approved 980,000 renovation will be accomplished only if a firm contract is available, with the understanding such additional renovation will be paid for by the leasee.
That's the amendment, right?
But see, that's my point. If the leasee is gonna pay for it, the commissioners don't even have to come to us.
That's
They
what
have
we
the
want.
authority, they have the power to say, okay, if you're gonna pay for the renovation, it's yours.
No, because we're tearing down the building on the 15th of October.
Karen,
No.
Yeah, we are.
Hold on.
Well, we'll make them do it on the 15th.
I'm sure they're going to willingly take it down on the 15th. We don't have to be adversarial here. What we're trying to do is just get the parameter here so that the commissioners have a clear understanding of our intent. Frank, I asked the question. Let's say that Health and Human Services, which never is going to come forward, let's say if, in my opinion, let's say the Veterans Administration is never going to come forward. But let's say they do. Let's say the president gives them $4 million and says run with it, and we find that this is a need and it's acceptable to us. If we have the money, they have a willing tenant, and they can go into one of those wings and they pay for it entirely, where's the harm to us? It's not going to happen. And if it did, it would probably be a good thing for us. So I don't see that being an issue.
right.
Or Representative Pengo.
Well, do we want to say, if this is a hang-up that some people happen to have?
I'm trying to work through the hang-up.
Yeah, but we can say only if a firm contract is available and the delegation approves it?
No,
Yeah, well,
no.
Go ahead, Representative Pena.
Could you repeat the last
Is
sentence one
I'm
more
gonna
time?
say
for me?
available. I'd like, if we, I don't like the word available at
Okay.
that point. If we could tighten up the word available, I think we might be there.
Could you repeat the last?
Contract in place.
The last sentence one
I
more
don't
time.
I don't like the thought of the delegation approving it. You know, the commissioners have a certain authority.
I know, but frankly.
We don't have to approve a contract,
Excuse me, you
a
just
renting
said,
contract or any other kind of contract.
Representative Member,
It's more than $5,000.
more than $5,000, they have to come forward.
so what word do we want instead of,
Could you repeat the last sentence again?
sure. Any alteration to the approved, okay, approved demolition of the wings and the front, okay? Redoing the
Is that
laundry
in
room.
the, is that in the sentence?
Absolutely.
Okay.
It's
Any-
right up
of
here.
The approved demolition of the wing.
That's all up in the first part. All we're adding is that we want them to have a firm contract before they change anything that deals with the demolition, the laundry room, the maintenance facility, and
understand
the
that.
3,000.
Can you state it again?
Okay,
Would you like it from the top?
Yes.
okay.
Let's go from the top.
May I, just one point, you said $5,000, I'm not talking about expending money, I'm talking about income. If the individuals that want to rent the space sign a contract with the commissioners to pay the county X number of dollars a month, and they will pay for taking care of the inside, fixing it up the way they want it.
They being the
The commissioners
county?
have the authority to do that without our permission.
They being the county expending that money, I don't believe they do. They don't.
They're
They
not
don't.
spending money. The individual that's
They-
renting it is spending it. The county is taking money in for rent. There's no expenditure.
Okay, so if the county were to take in to renovate that space, let's say Health and Human Services wanted to take our 3,000 square feet, and they came in with $300,000 in some form to the commissioners, where's your fear on that?
The commissioners have the authority to do that without our permission.
That's incorrect. They can I?
There's no
That's not-
expenditure.
It,
It's just income.
it doesn't,
Okay, hold you, go ahead,
the
Representative.
delegation holds the authority to approve any renovation, no matter who's paying for it, of the county property over $5,000. Even if a private person comes in and says, I'll spend the money, we still have to approve that use. Okay?
I
So it's not just
respectfully
expenditure.
disagree.
Well, that's fine.
Okay, I
You've
don't-
got those
I just want to
statutes.
comment on this.
Right.
This is an item that we're using suppositions that probably will never occur. And if they do occur, we can iron it out then. Let's not let it hold up the vote.
Okay. So let's move, if we could, to hear the motion from top to bottom.
Recommend the delegation go forward with the proposal from BPS dated March 14th, 2012, to include 4A, which is demolition, 8, 10, 8, 9, 10, and 12, with a not-to-exceed cost of $980,000 for renovation of the core area of the old nursing home. Set October 15th, 2012, for the commissioners to come up with with contracts for use of remaining portion of the building prior to the demolition beginning. Any alteration to the approved $980,000 renovation will be accomplished only if a firm contract is in hand, with the understanding such additional renovation will be paid for by the leasee.
I'll get you, Representative Fleck.
I think that where I have a problem with this is The $980,000 is stated in this, not amendment, but whatever, as the renovation of the core. And the $980,000 isn't the renovation of the core.
What is it then?
The renovation of the core is a certain amount of money. The demolition is another amount of money.
All right, so you want me to add and
That's where I
demolition?
have-
And demolition.
And demolition, would that be acceptable to you in the addendum? Any alteration, where do you have that represented?
Any alteration to the approved $980,000 renovation or demolition, if I can spell it. So what do you want me to say up in the top? That you didn't like the $980,000 for renovation of the core? What do you want me to change that to?
Well, the
Choose-
980, it basically, just
Renovation?
change that to demolition, renovation also.
Renovation.
Because that's what it is.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Right. So it's called out in two parts.
Right.
Okay?
Representative McCarthy?
I'm gonna vote no anyway, so.
Well, then we can stop trying to work with you. Okay.
All right.
Representative Pengill, you're fine with where we're at this point?
Yeah, I suppose so, because I guess there's a figure outside of the $410,000 in the $980,000. And by separating those two, we're also separating those two costs. Because the $980,000 includes a $410,000 for demolition. So you can't pretend that the $980,000 is for renovation of the core.
It's renovation
Correct.
and demolition.
You said demolition.
It's
Right.
been added in both places. If they don't demolish, they can't use that money for any other purpose.
Right. Okay.
Okay. I think we're to a point to, if we could call the roll, please.
Sure. Representative Pettingill.
Yes.
Representative McCarthy.
No.
Representative Merrill.
That would be-
Yes, I guess. Yes.
It's your motion.
Yes.
No, not really.
Oh, you gotta point.
Thank you. For
It's like
the
checking a
record,
bill with my name
the
on it.
representative's vote
Yes.
is yes. Let's
Yeah.
move on.
Representative Schmidt.
Yes.
Umberger, yes. Representative McConkey.
Chairman votes yes.
Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to 1.
Okay. Thank you. Business of the subcommittees concluded at this time. And thank you all for your participation.
I would just like to
Joe,
congratulate Karen on such a well-drafted.
I think we ought to congratulate the chairman for getting this written.